My name is Happy Gilmore. I haven't swung a club in years.
You know what you gotta do.
Grip it and rip it.
Or... Oh, now that is some Happy Gilmore!
Everyone is talking about the comeback kid, Happy Gilmore.
Happening!
Yeah, baby!
Happy Gilmore 2, only on Netflix July 25th. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13.
After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Sports are all about teamwork, and so is insurance. Whether you need an in-person or digital assist, State Farm is there to help you choose the right coverage for your home, car, and more. Get a game plan that helps fit your life and talk to State Farm today. State Farm with the assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again. This is the Shades of Blue. This is Thad Bell from the KC Soccer Journal with me, Robert, Carey, and Mike. A full crew, not always the normal crew, but again, our crew is never really normal. Draw last night. Gave up a goal early, or not early, but gave up a goal in the first half and came back. Who wants to jump in with their first thoughts?
Well, hey, before we get into that, Cody is doing something with meat today. I don't know what it is. And then apparently a bunch of weight lifts Friday night. What's going on here? Anybody know?
Whatever is going on at Convention Center. But
right, yeah.
I think he's just in hiding, quite honestly.
Is he? Okay. Well, there might be a reason for that, but we might get into that later. But yeah, I don't know. Thad, we were in the locker room last night. We asked Daniel about, okay, what is the mentality? What can be the mentality? What can you fall into a trap of when you keep giving up the first goal at home? And he said, yeah, it's definitely a disturbing trend, and you can fall into a trap pretty quickly with that. But he tried to be positive as well. But guys, come on, we've got to do better.
Yeah, I think they've only had a lead in one game in the last however many, and that was at halftime, and that was the LA own goal.
Right. Yeah. So Mike, I know you had a bit of issue with starting 2 6s. Was that part of the problem, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I can't say it's a problem with starting 2 6s because it's been an issue longer than starting Radoya and Bartlett, basically. Yeah. I mean, I said last night, I give Carey a ton of credit for the substitutions he made last night and in general the substitutions he makes, but there's certainly feels like there's a trend of not getting the starting lineup right and then adjusting at halftime or early in the second half, and that changing the result and us coming back, getting results, getting wins, getting draws in games where we were trailing, where we allowed the first goal, basically. But it feels like we're not starting the game as well as we could be or as well as we should be, basically. And then we're having to fight back, which is good for a team to have, but you can only do that so much over the course of the season.
I said this to you guys last night, but I don't know how many comeback games I have left in me, sitting in the cauldron, watching goals go in the net in front of me, and just hoping that maybe in the 85th minute we get a chance to go up.
Well, they don't want you to be overexcited for the entire game. They're trying to manage the
Yeah,
expectations
God
here.
forbid. Yeah.
Don't be excited for 90 minutes, just the last 20-ish, What do you
There's
think?
a
Is that
slogan. There's a slogan there somewhere, Carrie. Maybe you can come up with one, but there's a slogan there somewhere.
I'm gonna start coming at like halftime just so that I have my full energy back for whenever we start playing good again.
that would be actually I'm never this is not like a suggesting a protest or anything, but if you were going to be a supporters group that had a protest, show up at halftime. Just don't even show up for the first half, just like a line up, they blow the whistle, start filing in right at that point.
Here
That
for
would
the
be
substitutions. Substitutions FC.
that'd be a good name for the supporters group. All right, so Radoya got the start. I mean, I thought he played fairly decently for a guy who hasn't played a lot of minutes in a long time. Brody got the start. What'd you guys think of how he did?
I think I would have liked to see Shelton for right off the bat because once he came in the second half, again, that's a sub that progressively got better.
I like Shelton off the bench this year for sure. But Mike, what do you think of Brody last night?
I mean, I don't think he's improved. I mean, I think it's kind of shown the struggles that the team has had at right back that he's getting time, and I mean he's shown why Salt Lake let him go, basically released him. He's not a bad player, he's not a bad depth piece, but he's not a starting quality right back in this league. At this point, it's just not he was the goal, and the two guys you mentioned were both at primarily at fault for the goal that we allowed last night, with Radoya kind of playing it between where Shallowy and Dayam were, and then Brody just getting beat on that counter by NYCFC. But I mean, yeah, Brody's a fine player, but he's not going to be a game changer. He's not going to be he's not a guy you want starting every game. It just kind of shows the struggles the team is having with the right back position.
Agreed. And again, I don't want to like blame Brody for anything, but he just wasn't fast enough or strong enough to push the player off the ball on that goal. And the guy placed it in a good spot. But so I don't want to blame Brody for that. But he also hasn't brought enough to the table to really make me like, let's give him a lot of more minutes.
He's had worse games, and last night was not his worst game.
It was probably his best game.
Yeah.
or
maybe
top
second.
Two.
Yeah.
What about you, Robert? Would you rather have Kyrie starting than Brody?
Well, I mean, those are our choices. Yeah, I mean, Kyrie, I mean, he didn't come in and change the world. It was more a combination of things. He did nothing. There are a couple of points offensively where he failed. Could have done better than he did, but I mean, he was okay. Again, right back is where I think we need some major help, and hopefully we'll get some soon. But Roddy, Carey talked about how the reason he was in there is because he brings a little bit of experience. He's tough, he's rugged, he can win duels in the midfield. That didn't really stand out for me, so I'm not sure. Even Carey said he did a decent job in the match. So I don't think the Roddy start did much. I'm just surprised that Jake in the last couple of matches has not been in the starting 11. Come off the bench well, but I'd rather see him in the starting 11.
I think that just might be somewhat managing his
right
energy, his yellow cards. I mean, just a lot of factors. But I mean, personally, I would rather see him out there than some people. I think Roddy at his best is maybe better than Jake in that type of scenario. But I think Jake overall just brings much more energy and passion. And like after the goal scored last night, I was looking through photos a little bit before we did this, and Shallowy goes off to celebrate. Jake runs immediately to the net to grab the ball. It's just like a different mindset of everybody. He's like, let's go,
He did give Shallowy a low five, though, on the way.
Yeah. And then once they got the ball back to the center circle, Basong's holding the ball up. I also have a shot of that. He's just like holding the ball up, like, guys, let's get back over here. Let's start the game up. We're only tied. Like there's that mentality of different players. Like, let's go.
I think let's just bite the bullet, let Jake start, get that yellow to the next game, restart.
Well, I
Right.
mean, Jake's not the only guy. It's Jacob Bartlett that has yellow issues as well. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the yellow issue, but I mean, it goes back to your comment earlier, Robert, about starting to quote unquote 2 6s. Yes, I know Radoya basically played the 8 last night, but
yeah,
he's not he's not good enough in progressive passing to play that position for us. I mean,
neither is Basson.
Basong's better than Radoya. I mean,
Yeah.
it showed when Basong came on at halftime. We looked a lot better still, but before the Munoz Davis subs, when we switched to kind of a 4-4-2, we were doing better in the 4-3-3 with Basong in the midfield because he's more progressive, not just necessarily passing, but he's more progressive movement forward than Radoya is. Radoya's go-to is lateral or backward. It is his primary thing, and he just doesn't look comfortable going forward, which is a problem when you're the 8. It's okay when you play the 6 and you pass it around the back line like Bartlett does, but once you make that step up into the next position in the midfield, you have to be more progressive, and he's just not.
Yeah, and starting 2 guys, Bartlett and Radia, who are like that. I mean, the other team just has to focus on Manu, and they've got it, right? Basically.
Either that, or you have to get a lot more work out of your outside backs. And I mean, the first half, they were attacking not exclusively, but mostly down Shallowy and Ndembe's side.
Right.
I mean, I think I could probably count on one hand the number of times we went through Brody and Shoppy from midfield on forward, basically.
The Brody and Shoppy side is the BS side.
The what side?
BS. That's just a bad humor. I do think that probably starting Radia and Bartlett there was a opportunity, or an attempt rather, to limit the goals given up in the first half, since it has been a huge problem. I'm assuming starting the 2 6s was an attempt to like keep that to a minimum, and they only gave up 1 in the first half. Came close a couple other times, but maybe that was the logic. Maybe that was the reason.
And that goal was just, I mean, the New York player that scored, he was just faster than us. And
yeah,
it was like, is this what every NWSL team feels whenever it's a one-on-one with Temo Chewinga and she scores? That's how I felt. I felt like every other NWSL player or a team.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying earlier, is that Brody just wasn't fast enough or strong enough to push him off the ball. So he had the opportunity to get that shot off, and he placed it in a corner that Postcamp couldn't get to. So good job for them, but we need to limit those chances coming through, which I kind of limited some of it. What was the XG for New York yesterday? In one place it was like 1.6, another spot it was like 2.1.
I saw like a 1.8, but yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, NYCFC is a playoff team. They're 10-8-5, 2-5-5 on the road. But I mean, they didn't exactly have a whole lot to applaud last night either. They weren't dynamic. Neither team got a shot on goal for an extended period. So yeah, not exactly we were playing San Diego or anybody like that.
Well,
XG for Sporting KC was 1.05, New York 1.6.
Yeah, like it just seems like it's different in different places, of course. But
yeah,
also New York was coming off having played midweek, and they were in the heat, and
it was their third road game in 8 days.
Yeah, and they got like one more to go after. Well, they got a week rest, I think, before the next one. But
and it's a big field compared to theirs.
Yes, I mean they're playing on a real field. Lets their fast guys actually run. Makes Maxi look smaller. But I mean, it's one of those, like, if if it had been reversed, we'd be like, we got a result after being tired and down and, all this stuff. We'd have been like, yeah, okay. But Sporting was the one that needed to get the result yesterday more than New York City did.
Yeah, I looked at the table and I felt very sad during the game.
Yeah, because we'll get the points and stuff in a little bit, but Dayon seemed very quiet last night. Was it just he wasn't getting the ball? Was he not in it? Was he tired from having a baby recently? Not him, but have baby in the house. What do you think it is?
Well, the
I mean,
best shot he had on goal was blocked by his own player, which was unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, your note says not being fed, question mark. That's been the problem, been the issue this whole time, right? And how many times did he touch the ball in the first half? I can't recall many besides that block shot, and that might even been in the second half. So
I mean,
Mike, here.
I think a lot of it is that teams are just, I mean, teams know that they need to key in on him, and they're keying in on him more so now with the fact that we've shown we can get him the ball and we can work through him. Basically, I thought Martins and Hawk did a great job in just limiting the space that he had offensively to try to even get the ball. I mean, one of them was on top of him basically all game last night.
Yeah, but he's also shown the ability to get away from that at times in the past. But that's all. But that's when you need to find ways to feed him a little more creatively. And I know we
Or
like
you,
Manu, but Manu
or you
hasn't
need
been able
other
to do that.
guys to step up.
Yep.
And that's the thing is like that's the next progression for this team is the fact that he'd scored in 8 straight games or had a goal or an assist in 8 straight games coming into last night. So teams are going to key in on him more than they normally would. So you need the Shallowies, you need the Shoppies, you need the Manus to step up to show these teams, hey, you can't just take him out of the game and stop us. We have other weapons. And I mean, I think last night with the introduction of Munoz and Davis, that helped show that. I think more than anything, it shows Munoz needs more time on the field with the rest of the starters, basically.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but the problem is always where do you play him? Because he seems to be much more of a central player than a winger.
I think one of the main issues with Dayon is the fact that we don't find him often enough when we receive the ball from, say, the wing, say a center midfielder or somebody like that, even Shalwi, because he roams a lot, and we look, but we don't play the ball into him, even though when Dayon has space. Dayon is very good at receiving ball, playing a one-touch pass to the right person, things of that nature, and I don't think we use Dayon in that way enough. So when Munoz comes into the game, when Jake comes into the game, and they're much more progressive and they play off him, then more things happen as a result. I'd like to see that more from the other guys.
I know Carey's got to be pulling out his hair trying to figure out how to get everybody on the field and not give up goals. And I'm not sure how the best way to do that is. And I'm sure like I said, they're trying to figure that out. Is it going to require more players? Which I think we'll talk about in the second segment shortly. Anything else to talk about from the game proper itself? I mean, Shallowy got the goal. It was his birthday. Was that like inevitable? Was that just a storyline that had to be? Did they magically control the ball to go in when Shallowy shot that? Because that wasn't like a clean shot.
Well, yeah, but he did what you're supposed to do, right? You
Yes.
knock it into the ground and make sure you get it on goal. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we needed something to be joyous over, and why not that, right? It's a nice story. So there you go.
And he got serenaded at one point.
Yeah.
Did you sing along, Mike?
No. I'm kind of at the point where I watch games now more than I participate.
How about you, Carrie? Were you singing Happy Birthday to him?
Of course, I was in the cauldron.
Of course.
Of course.
Which, I have to give you props or whatever the terms are now, but on the two-pole idea that you guys used, the Mr. Burns,
Mm-hmm.
I have to give you a downgrade on the execution of it, though.
Tell me why. What can I fix?
You either the whole thing was too long or your poles were too short because the top part flopped over and you couldn't see the excellent word most of the time.
Oh yeah, no, there is no like place for your hands to go. It's
Right.
just only the pipe going through it. So, and
So
then I'm
see, you
just
knew.
yeah, no, and then I think that banner is 5 feet tall. Well, I am 5'2", so
So I do have a question related to Mr. Burns. Thad, your title is what? Managing editor of our site, is that correct?
I don't even care, but sure.
So would my managing editor be upset if I ask Mr. Burns in the restroom on the 5th floor of Children's Mercy Park about the transfer window coming up? Because I run into him every game in the restroom. Is that inappropriate? Would that be wrong?
You do you. I know that the PR staff would be way more unhappy with you than I would, but
Oh, okay. All right. Well, discretion is the better part of valor, so I have resisted to this point, and I probably still will, but yeah.
I was not expecting a burn sighting in the restroom to be the next question up.
Well, there it is.
I did see him at the SKC2 game the other night,
Okay.
Friday night, which was another SKC2 game, but yeah. All right. End of this segment. Let's move on to, let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. In heart-pumping moments, you need hydration that can keep up. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Scientifically formulated to quickly replenish electrolytes and fluids lost from your well-earned sweat session. Hydrate your favorite mode of movement with Liquid IV, made with triple the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. Also available and sugar-free. Tear, pour, live more. Visit liquidiv.com to learn more.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
All right, we're back. Segment 2. Sporting is, what position are they in the standings now? 13th? 12th?
Yes, sir.
Slightly above the chess capital of America and LA Galaxy.
we have some room on them still.
Yes.
Yes, we're slightly above them, but we got, I can't math, 7 points on St. Louis.
Six.
Six. Okay, apologies. I did preface I cannot math before that.
An 8 above the Galaxy.
I'm rooting for the Galaxy to pass them.
Exactly. That would be sweet. That'd be sweet.
I'm rooting for Montreal to gain more points than them.
anyone. But what, we're 123 matches. Everybody above us except for San Jose and Houston have 24. So I mean, we're still within striking range for sure, 5 points, but we have to leapfrog over 3 clubs.
All 4 technically to get into a playoff spot.
Right, if you're not counting number 9.
Well, number
no,
9
no,
is
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
San Jose would count. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
It depends on, some people say that's not a playoff spot, it's a play-in spot, but whatever.
Right.
You have to play a postseason game in order. It's a playoff
To
spot.
play more than 34 regular season games, you have to get into the 9th spot.
Yes, it's a matter of semantics, and there's plenty of times I will play the whole argue different semantics game, but this is not one of them, especially right now. 9th is a goal at least to get to. So like again, the goals for this year are to improve, get a base for next year, be above the chess capital of America, St. Louis, and get a 9th spot. Which, by the way, I found out St. Louis is the chess capital, self-proclaimed chess capital of America, as they self-proclaim many things.
And that's why Dayon came here. He wanted to prove it to them that it's not them.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's why, but I think that we should arrange a match between their best player and Dayon at some point.
He's very proud of like his ranking in the world. Like he posts it on Instagram all the time.
What is his ranking, Carrie?
I don't know. It's
Do you
in
recall?
the
Ballpark?
Didn't he, wasn't he streaming the other day of him like actually like taking on a grand master in a
Really?
chess match? I feel like I saw that mentioned somewhere.
He is very high ranked. I don't think he's not, last I looked, he's not a grandmaster level, but he would be in the master level ish. But I've also dug into this more over the last month because for a couple different reasons. There's different rankings. There's the FIDE rankings. There's some other rankings. There's also traditional chess. There's speed chess. There's blitz chess. And I think another one maybe. There's another thing that's getting more popular. So yeah, chess is a little different than when I was young. A lot of things are a lot different than when I was young. Oh shit.
He is 17,500 in the world ranking, and Europe he is the 10,000th best player.
But what's his like number? Like 2,400 or 25? Last I saw, he was like 2,200 or something like that.
It's not bad.
Oh yeah, standard 2,217.
Yeah, and I think 2,600 is Grandmaster.
Nice.
And I think 24 might be Master, but I could be wrong. Again, I don't want to turn this into a chess pod, but it would be driving Cody crazy right now. This isn't what we're supposed to be talking about. I don't care, Cody. You're not here. But anyway, I just had found out that St. Louis was a self-proclaimed chess capital of America.
There we go.
So that's they have a better claim to that than they do to the other thing at this point. But 5 points out of a playoff spot, 6 points above St. Louis, 11 games left, transfer window opening this week. Of those 11 games left, only 5 are at home, 3 of the next 4 on the road. Most of the next few are playoff spots, or teams that are already solidly in playoff spots. We don't know if they're going to get a player in. They keep saying, Kerry keeps deflecting. You asked last night. I asked in the presser during the week. Kerry is doing exactly what he's supposed to do, is deflect that question.
Right.
Because he can't answer it. Peter could have answered that, but
did you find it interesting though how he answered it? He says, I'm lucky enough to be able to just focus on coaching this team. I mean, obviously Kerry has a voice into some of that, correct? But it's pretty clear separation between his role and Mr. Burns' role, whereas before it was a more muddled. Agree, or what are your thoughts?
It's definitely more separate.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter was essentially over everything team related. Kerry's not. So, Kerry's not even a sure shoe-in to be the head coach. So
right.
They may not be taking his thoughts as seriously as they would have Peter, for example.
So have you heard anything at all through your connections?
Last I heard that was the scout had been watching somebody and Burns was headed over to go watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. So I've asked around, and we know we're working on something, but we don't know if it's close or not.
Well, the thing that we also need to remember with the transfer window is Kansas City does have a chunk of GAM that expires at the end of this season that that they have to use or lose, basically. So I'm not saying that that they'll spend all of it. It wouldn't surprise me if they let some expire, but I can't imagine that they will stand totally pat and not use a chunk of that game to bring in somebody this window. At the same time, as you said, we don't know who the coach is going to be next year. If it's not Carey, then they want to give the new coach and the new COS, if there is if it's not Burns, or if someone's brought in over Burns or whatever, you want to give them, those people, those hypothetical people, the most available, most cap space, most roster space, as much as you can available, so you don't want to tie up a ton of money in players that a new chief soccer officer may say, oh, I don't like this guy. So I can't see them standing pat with the hypothetical amount of GAM they have that expires, but I don't expect a third DP to come in, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
No, I wouldn't expect that either. However, maybe a U22. But about that GAM, I was asking about it earlier in the season, and I was told that they're not 100% sure if it actually does completely expire. There's confusion because it's MLS rules. And two, well, I was thinking that yes, they're going to go at least bring in somebody, some depth piece or a young player or something with that money. They also threw back at the alternative of maybe they just extend a player they know they want to keep and use that money on their new contract.
Right.
So that's different ways that they could use that money and still not bring in anybody.
Are there that many players whose contracts are expiring that we want to definitely bring back, though? That we definitely want to extend?
Well, that's a discussion for another time, Mike.
Fair point.
I guess I wonder if they could use it on, if there was like an academy kid that they had high hopes for, if they could use it on what they have contracts that they don't ever announce. They're called hybrids, that they'll sign a player to like a SKC2 contract is what you'll hear, but it'll actually be a dual contract for the first team also for like 2 years down the road or something. So I don't know if there's a player that's in the academy that they could be looking at, and maybe that GAM could account for that. But I'm not sure because it wouldn't, the way the rules are, that would be technically signing to the SKC2 team, which the GAM wouldn't account for. And the first team deal wouldn't be for another year or two, so that might not work. Don't know. That's why they need accountants for all that shit.
So the next two matches, guys, lady, we've got Vancouver. Vancouver, they were kind of struggling for a little bit, but they are in the number 2 slot, 42 points, 12-5-6, 6-2-2 at home. And then we go to San Diego, which is the team above them.
San Diego comes here.
San Diego comes here is what I meant. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Are we going to be in even playoff talk after these two matches? Of course, it depends what the other clubs do, but that's two brutal games right there.
I think we should hope for a point, and that would probably be, I'll say San Diego at home, only because of the result last night and how we were able to just keep them to the 0-0 draw when we were in San Diego. In terms of playoff positioning, I know earlier this season, we all kind of agreed on like 9th place. I'm going to edit that and say 12th. I do not think that we can leapfrog many teams.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Carrie. The whole overriding idea in our discussion today has been basically, we haven't said it blatantly, is that Thad hinted at it, that this roster just up and down is not strong enough to be a playoff team.
To be consistent.
Yeah. It would really only take 2 players to make them a playoff team. I'm not saying a high level playoff team, but
Right.
but a consistently good right back, not great, but good. And I don't know, another center back or another midfielder or another winger. Uh, oh, I do. To go back to one of Mike's questions earlier, is there anybody on this roster that we'd want to spend money on for sure that we don't have a contract for longer or that would be expiring? Santiago Munoz, he's on loan.
Right.
Let's freaking just buy him right now. That would be
That
my
that for me, and I'm not saying I'm against signing him because I very much have liked what I've seen. That comes down to how much what the price
yes,
is. That
obvious. Yes,
100%. Like the where I'd pause is, would purchasing him make him a DP? Because if so, then no. That I like what I've seen, but no, he's not. He should not be a DP. But I mean, if we
TAM
can
guy.
get him for a TAM level contract, sure. Let's
Yeah.
get that finalized this right now.
Yeah. So all in favor of TAM contracting Santi today?
Aye.
TAM may be a little too much. I'm not convinced he's a TAM level player.
So going back to Robert's comment about the next two games, because they actually played each other last night, 1-1 draw in San Diego. Our next opponents, Vancouver, they did just transfer one of their better midfielders, Pedro, I think it's pronounced Viti, just moved to Mexico on a pretty good deal. So their midfield is going to take a hit, but they're also pretty sure Ryan Gauld is getting close to returning to health, which would add the firepower back to their midfield that they're going to be losing. So, I mean, they have that, but Vancouver has suffered the same fate that a lot of teams that make really deep runs in the Champions League do. Once the Champions League run ends, they kind of go in, get themselves into a bit of a lull, basically the come down from the Champions League. Because I mean, they tied San Diego, they did beat Houston, but before that they lost to Colorado, they lost to the Galaxy. So I mean, they've had some results not going their way. Now they've done all that on the road, so maybe once they return home things will change. But I mean, Vancouver hasn't been playing as well as they had been earlier in the season.
Yeah, well, I think part of that is fatigue, like you said, related to the competitions they've been in, but also you had White and Berhalter playing in the Gold Cup for the U.S., so that was a factor as well.
Very true. But they are 4 losses, 1 draw, and 2 wins in their last 7. So there's hope. How about that?
Good way of putting it, but a point would be a very good result on the road in Vancouver.
Totally agree. And with the turf that we always seem to have struggled with on turf, period, and then especially early in the game. So maybe there'll be a second half team in Vancouver. I said that with a lot of confidence, didn't I?
Well, yeah, you did.
Hey, that's fine. I don't have to cheer for them for 90 minutes before they start scoring.
Set a timer.
I can sit back, watch, and drink, and hopefully not get sad by
just wake up at like 10:30 our time, like take a nap at 9:30, wake up, start drinking.
Yeah.
All right, so on the rundown, you guys kind of said it, but predictions for the last 11, do they make the playoffs? I know Carrie's revised down to 12th. Robert?
Do I think this team will make the playoffs?
Yes.
No.
Mike?
My prediction at the beginning of the season was 9 to 12. I feel pretty good about that decision. 9 still a possibility, but I tend towards the 10 to 12 range for that. So no, I don't think this team's making the playoffs.
Yeah, I was the one who initially said no, and then in the first couple of games made me positive and hopeful. I fell for it. And I said, okay, we're gonna hit that number 9 spot. But now I'm back down.
So that's curious though, because the first couple games were losses.
Well, first couple of games when Kerry took over,
Okay.
was the positives. I was like, okay, no.
Hey,
All
but
right.
we were also feeling pretty good after that first Miami game. Whenever it was just Messi that beat us. So,
Yes. One single messy goal.
and we had hope.
We do have hope at times. All right. I'm going to just try to be positive, and I'm going to say they are going to just barely squeak into a 9th spot. I'm not 100% confident, obviously. So
Yeah, you're not convincing at all.
how about how about this? Is they do just well enough to give us hope.
And that's in a rebuild what you want, right? I mean, that's what a rebuild's about, that there is hope, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And, we are heading there. There are glimpses. So we've got some positivity out there.
More so than portions of this year and last year. How about that?
Agreed.
Positiveness. Yes. All right. Anything else from this segment we need? I think we are done for this segment, for segment 2.
I'm just going to throw out one thing real quick. Sorry, Thad. If you were Cody, you'd be pissed at me. But anyway, why not throw out Munoz and Joveljic together as much as we can? Why not, throw out the young guys there as much as we can and see what we've got and, see if that chemistry is really going to be there and just go for it, not worry about, tactics as much as far as, restricting and limiting how many goals we get scored on us in the first half or whatever. Just get out there, put the young guys out there, put the best players out there and just let them play.
I think the question is then what formation?
Well, and who are these young players? I mean, for example, who's our young quote unquote right back? Who's our
Well, okay, we don't have one of those. That is the exception. That's why my article last week said, hey, let's get a right back in this window.
Kyrie Shelton is the young right back.
No, Andrew Brody is the young right back. Because see here, and I'll continue our deviation from the end of the segment. Matt Doyle did his transfer window needs for each team, and his thing for Sporting was need to get more young players on the field, or get more young players basically, and that's all well and good, but I mean, Thad, you and I have discussed in private our frustrations with SKC2 and the lack of quote unquote hope that we had when other bad SKC2 teams were playing when they were in the USL Championship and stuff. There was still somebody that gave you hope. There was a Wilson Harris. Yep. There was there was even Tyler Freeman, guys that gave you some hope of, hey, yeah, the team's bad, but there are players on the team that give you hope. And you don't have that with this SKC2 team. So who's the young, there's no young player in that range that I think deserves a shot with the first team, basically.
Okay, I mean, are you excluding Ian James?
No, because Ian James is on a first team contract, and Ian James has played like 4 games.
Yeah, get him out there more.
SKC2. Honestly, I think Ian James is where he is, or SKC2's situation is where it is because of Ian James. I think Ian James was supposed to spend most of this season playing virtually every game with SKC2. Yeah. And then the injuries and form of our center backs were so bad that he has to sit the bench with the first team and can't play with the second team like he was supposed to. I mean, look at the fact that they only have one center back on their pro roster for SKC2. Ian James was supposed to play basically every game there. And but of the players that are on pro contracts, I'm not convinced any of them are first team material. So the Doyle had talked about needing to get young kids. the club's going to have to go outside their academy to find these young kids is, I guess, what I'm getting at right now, based on what I've seen.
Well, I think it boils down to this. I think we know what Fernandez brings now. I think we know what Ndembe and Leibold bring, and I know there's no other left back that's going to do that. But we know what Radia brings, and we know what Daniel Shallowy brings. Let's find out for sure what Afrifa brings, what Ian James can bring. I mean, don't run him out every game, but give him some significant minutes. Let's put Lasong and Davis and Bartlett out there as much as we can. I know we have for some of those, but let's just get them on the field. Let them show what they can do. We know what the other guys can do.
I would totally agree if once they get to a point where they know they're not making the playoffs. Because I mean, there's always that hope you get the playoffs and something can happen. And I know that's not always the right strategy, but I just think that's probably where that might happen is if they, there are 4 games left in the season and they're 12 points out of the playoffs. You just say screw it and play the kids no matter what.
Well, aren't we there if we lose these next 2 games, which we probably will?
I think some of it will depend on other results, but yeah.
Oh, no. Right, but more or less. I mean,
because officially SKC2 isn't eliminated from the playoffs in MLS Next Pro,
and how far out are they, Mike?
I couldn't tell you the exact number right now, but
you guys are still clinging on to hope. Come on, I don't care if mathematically we're still in it after these 2 games.
No. Well. It's not necessarily that I'm clinging on to hope. It's probably, and I've experienced this in multiple conversations. It is resetting my brain from PV because well, I mean, think about it. How many times over the last 3-4 years have we been eliminated from the playoffs, but still run out the same guys? How many times have we not tried to integrate young players? Basically, I'm at a point where I'm still having to retrain my brain to be like, hey, we can play Ian James. We can play Stephen Afrifa. We can play guys that are younger and get them in. And we might do that for once because we don't have Peter, who is going to play his guys that he's comfortable with, even if we're well outside the window, basically. So yeah, I would like to see it. Carey has to prove that he'll do it. And so far he's been doing a lot of things that PV wouldn't do to prove that he's not. I just need to see it in that aspect as well.
More subs, more formation changes, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. The downside to that is, as we were just saying, there's not a whole lot of young guys there to give minutes to. That's the problem.
I think there's enough.
Well, I'm just saying there's not a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. If it gets to the end, play Ian James. I don't, again, there's always the managing young guys thing of not losing their mentality and stuff like that. So Ian James giving up that not the red card, but the PK a couple games ago was perfect because it didn't cost them the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could make a mistake and not cost a game. Perfect opportunity. And I do have a lot of hope for him. And from the 2 team, I think there's only one player down there that has any chance of making the first team. And I actually think it's a reasonable chance that he will make it. I'm not saying over 50-50 at this point, but is Cello Tashantrat. So he's been not great part of this year, but he's also been played way out of position because they didn't have other players. And he was the one that could at least adapt a little bit.
Don't you all remember when Natty Clark was like the major, top rated player of the future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a point where him and another player, was it Ryan Gage or something like that, Mike? They were like 2 of the top 15 players in the nation.
Yeah.
And Natty's playing still, and the other guy's gone. I don't know why. He's not even playing, as far as I know. But Natty didn't progress. He was one of the best players at that point, but that's why it's so hard to go,
well, it's
15-year-olds are great.
Not that he didn't progress, it's that others progressed past him, basically. And that's what happens. I mean, this is, and again, I'm getting off topic. This is something that I think a lot of fans are still trying to learn with regards to soccer, is that there are guys that will be standouts at the young ages that just don't progress, don't become professionals, don't become high level professionals. Not every academy player is going to be good. Think of how many players in, like, how many academy kids for teams in the Premier League, teams in the Championship, how many of those kids will appear in a handful of games for the first team or for the top reserves and then disappear because they just don't develop past that point. And we're starting to see that with MLS teams. We're starting to see that with some of the kids who may make appearances for SKC2, like the Bailey Sparks of the world, the Roman Knoxes, the Leroy Nzaguzis, the kids who will show up for the academy team and stuff and will and look really good, and then they just can't make that next step. And with academies now becoming more really a real focus for teams, we're starting to see that here. And I think people are just haven't adjusted their mindset to allow for, hey, this kid looks really good, or this kid looked really good, why is he not moved on? And it's because players peak at different levels.
Yep. And some of those players who can look great, and you can say, yeah, oh yeah, they'll be a great player, but they leave the team because they aren't getting enough time, and they go elsewhere and they never progress. Mateo Bunbury, for example, he leaves and everybody's like, oh, that's the greatest, he could have been a first team player and all this other stuff, and he's still playing in MLS Next Pro. He came back to
LaFleur.
And Mike Kuhn, where's Jalen Lindsay these days? He's still with Charlotte?
No, he's with New Mexico in the USL Championship.
There you
go. It's not a lot of players have left Kansas City's second team that went on to become amazingly great players. I mean, very solid players like Wilson Harris was a very good USL Championship player, and I think could have been a guy who was contributing off the bench in an MLS team, but he didn't catch on with another MLS team. If he was so good, he maybe would have caught on because he trialed for at least one or two other teams that needed help and didn't sign him. And he's had a very good career with Louisville, right? Louisville?
Yeah, Louisville, although he's in Israel now.
Right. And his second team in Israel, the better team in Israel.
Yes, better team now.
Yeah. So he's a good player and he's doing well. He's having a very fine, good career, but he just may not have been an MLS level guy.
Yeah, and that's the other thing because people are like, play the kids. Well, why didn't we play this kid or that kid? Well, a lot of the kids, as you said, haven't proven that Sporting made the wrong decision in not playing them. I mean, Cam Duke was on a short-term contract with Louisville, and now he's without a club again. I don't want to say no because I'm sure somebody will tell me I missed someone, but very few players that Kansas City has let go have not peaked above Sporting KC, I guess. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, no, there are very few players that Sporting KC has passed on that have made them regret it, basically. Right. And that's not to say that like Mateo Bunbury can't, because Mateo is still only like 20 years old. Yeah. So, I mean, players still can, but right now there are no players that will, but it'll happen eventually because that's how it always works in soccer around the world. Occasionally you'll have a player that you'll miss on and will blow up, but it hasn't happened for Kansas City yet.
So we'll move on to the next segment in a second. But I just want to say that that's right, and there will be some guy like that, and there's maybe been some that they've been close to getting. Preston Judd, and he's had a good career so far, but not a superstar. EPB was one that they wanted to sign, but because of the way the loans and all that stuff worked out. They failed to sign, and he went on with no compensation. You could say he peaked over Sporting, but kind of not too, because he went and
Right.
sat on a bench and then got loaned and loaned and loaned. But he's played in some very good teams and had a good career. Would have been nice to have him here, though. All right. End of segment 2, and we'll be back in a second.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables.
Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Hyundai. Get into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event and get away with a deal so right, it almost feels wrong. Because right now, you can save big on their most popular models, including SUVs like the Hyundai Santa Fe and Santa Fe Hybrid, and the all-electric Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit HyundaiUSA.com. Offers end September 2nd, 2025.
Segment 3, on the rundown, I called it Jansen and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, because that's like some kid's book, right?
Yes, it is.
I remember the name, but I heard last night and talked to him a little bit in the locker room, but apparently the big rainstorm that came through and all that flooding just wiped out his apartment, like flooded it through.
Yeah, but he was more upset about what, Thad?
His cat.
Yeah.
So movers came in and was moving stuff out, and he lost a bunch of stuff. I don't know what all and all this stuff, but see, anyway, movers are coming in and doing stuff and moving stuff out. He came back and thought that they had left the door open and let his cat out because they couldn't find his cat because they were like yelling for it, like, I don't know what the cat's name was. I know it's been on social media. Hank the cat.
Trust me, I know every cat's name.
That's why we have you on the pod, Carrie, is for for cat names. No, for social media. And because we like your input. But so anyway, he had a very bad day. Everything got flooded, and then they thought they lost the cat, and they finally found it hiding under some rugs or blankets and stuff in the corner, and the whole place was tore up. And so on Friday, he thought he had lost his cat. And at one point, he's like, I don't think I could play tomorrow. I'll be too upset.
He was about ready to kill somebody, he said, if they lost his cat.
Yeah, so he was not happy. But the happy ending was cat was found, cat is fine. They moved him into another apartment, and which is hopefully higher up. I don't know. But he did lose some stuff, and he gave me a quote that I would say is probably one of the most normal quotes for anybody in their days right after college. Adulting sucks.
Adulting sucks.
So does insurance, he added.
Yes. He's like, because he also had his car stolen earlier this year. And he's like, they stole my car and I have to pay? It's called a deductible. Yes. So.
He's only 22.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, he's been an amazingly good and productive rookie. And I think he has a long career in MLS and all that stuff. But yeah, he's probably not making a ton of money, and he's kind of been put in a bad spot with two different things. So, all right. Other news around the city: Teal Rising Cup concluded on Tuesday. Kansas City Current won. Not really a surprise. Played a lot of. They played a lot of the youth. They have a lot more youth to play.
Yeah.
And they won 2-1 and held a not 3D printed cup up and have a trophy this season already.
So 2-1 sounds like a close game. Was it?
It was closer than the first game.
Yeah.
What do you think, Carrie?
It seemed like what we've been seeing recently with some NWSL games where they know that they're ahead, so they're just going to sit back, defend as much as they can. Sure, there's just some scary moments, but it's how they've been playing most recent to try to keep that short leash on the game.
Yeah. And it gave a lot of opportunity to players who don't normally get a lot of minutes to play that way. And Mary Long scored her first professional goal. Saw some complaints that, oh, she didn't have to do any work for it. Well, she had to make the right runs and she had to put it in the net. And I've seen some very high level professionals put that right into a keeper or over the bar. So she put it in the net. Congrats to Mary. So technically the game winning goal in the Teal Rising Cup.
True.
Well done. Well done.
And Alex Pfeiffer got out for both games, so she came off of season-ending injury. Let's see. Other news, they have broken ground officially on the additional training center area and stadium at their training center. So they're building another training center kind of next to it, which I questioned why is it not connected, and nobody really knew. So they'll have some workout equipment in their current training center and a lot more equipment in the next training center. And I'm like, why would you not have at least a connected walkway? I don't get it, but and a 2,000 seat stadium has officially broken ground, although the pitch is already existing. It's already there. So they're going to build up bleachers around the pitch to make it a 2,000 seat stadium.
Having
Nice.
been out there, Thad, is that their is that like the quote unquote championship field at that complex? I'm just trying to picture where the 2,000 seat stadium is at the complex. So it's their championship field that already has some bleachers and stuff around it. They're just enlarging it.
It has no bleachers now. It has nothing. It's just a pitch right now.
Okay, then I don't think I'm thinking of the same field then. So.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of the youth fields on the other side.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
This new one will be just to the south of where the current building and the training part is. So
gotcha. Okay, needed to picture in my head where it was. So thank you.
And completion date is expected to be when?
This year.
Well,
it doesn't take long to put up bleachers.
For everything? For the new training center as well?
Go ahead, Carrie.
Oh, I was gonna say it's at least before the World Cup next year.
Yeah,
Because I think that the plan was to, if when the whatever team comes and uses the current facilities, at least they have this new section that they can use to practice and train during, and they don't have to share it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and one of the questions to them was that is this to help is this part of the bid and part of what the team that would go there to train? And they said it had nothing to do with the bid. They already had the bid without this stuff existing. So cool. They'll have a nice stadium. It seems like it will be kind of like the Victory Championship field, whatever it is at Swope, but with more bleachers and some fan amenities at least. I don't know. I mean, actually, maybe bathrooms, not porta potties. I don't know. But anyway, good. They'll have that stuff. And they've also loaned Jericho to HB. I don't know how to say it. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled, but it has a weird O. And that team was the team that the Longs bought recently, and they also signed 4 KC Current 2 players.
Is it too late to get the Longs to send me to go live in Denmark?
I don't know that it's too late, but like I don't have any pull on that. So
Because I would love to. Trying to play in KC and then getting sent to Denmark is not a bad deal.
yeah, but it's they're utilizing their the other team that they bought to develop players. So smart. And with the loan of Jericho to there, that will open up a roster spot, which presumably Gabrielle Robinson can come off season injury too. So
Do you think that we'll see Jericho playing in the practice scrimmage that they're hosting in a few weeks, next week?
yeah,
This week?
this week, right? Friday, I think this week. I would not be surprised, but I don't know. And again, it's not a friendly because it's not a friendly. It's a inter-squad practice session, inter-team, two teams practicing, whatever the right term is. Both teams will be practicing together, and they will potentially have a scrimmage at the end of it. And season ticket members are invited to come watch them practice.
Is it 90 minutes? Do we know?
I do
Or
not
is it
know.
like no rules, fun?
I don't know. I would not be surprised if it is not one team versus the other, but it is something like that, but with a swap of a couple players, so it's not an official friendly. I don't know why that matters, but they were very much, it's not friendly. Okay. All right. Anything else we need to cover this week other than why Cody might be in hiding this week?
Hey, he wasn't alone.
No, but I think, Carrie, should you be the one to give him shit?
Sure. Cody, if you're listening, we know that you got boogered. And by that, there is a fake Tom Boger account, Tom Burger on Twitter. And it used to be just making fun of like Kansas City, basically, just like poking fun, making fake rumors about just Kansas City. But he's learned that if he pulls in other MLS teams, he's getting a lot more recognition and interactions. But the one that Cody might have gotten in on was he said that Peter Vermes and LAFC were in talks for Peter to be the next head coach. And it got a lot of likes. But
And in fairness, Cody was not the only one that got boogered.
yes.
No, lots of people got caught up in that one. Lots of people.
Ali Trost Martin was one, I believe.
Yes.
Or
There were a lot of
retweeted
people
it.
there were a lot of people in Kansas City that got caught up in that one. Number of people.
But you, Mike, did you get caught?
No, I did not get caught by that one because I didn't see it until after people had exposed it. So I
Not this
didn't have to
time.
worry about it.
Whenever he first created the account, I think he got you.
Yes.
Earlier.
Oh yeah. He's definitely gotten me before. I
Mary's
will
on
not
it.
deny
She's got
that
the
fact.
records.
No, I will not deny the fact that he's gotten me before. But he did not get me with this one.
It's good. He's got the same profile picture, the same banner, the same everything that's in his bio, except for there's not a MLS and USMNT insider.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the official Tom Bogert's Twitter here, X, whatever. And Wrexham are about to sign a player. His name is Josh Windass. Windass.
Oh yeah. You don't remember it's been a little while, but there was for Hull City back in the day, there was Dean Windass.
Okay.
That's the one I always remember and always compare him to. I don't remember if it's the same, if that's his son or not.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if it is. Actually, I'm looking. I don't know, but yeah, no, the name is always humorous to hear.
Unfortunate.
I wonder what his nicknames are.
You blew that one when he misses a shot.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we should have covered? Oh, Carrie, I'm going back to you because I think you pointed this out maybe that NWSL has another hair puller coming to the league.
Yes, I have to find this. She is on. She's a recent signing to Chicago Stars, defender. And it was in the England-France game.
German,
Yeah,
I think.
Germany, France played yesterday.
Germany, France. Yes. Oh, yes. And then a German defender who Chicago Stars just signed just pulled a girl by her hair, got a red card in like the 13th minute.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to those friendlies.
So Thad, should we mention our friend made an appearance in Kansas City this weekend, and he had some sad news. Jimmy Conrad. Yes, we talked with him last night, and played a pickup game in Kansas City Friday night, soccer lot, and I was hoping to go out, but I couldn't make it. And he was talking to the guys who showed out, and a bunch of young guys, and didn't know that Jimmy played in the World Cup. And they're like, oh, really? Who? What team did you play on? Who were some of your teammates? He's like Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, and they're like, who? So yes, we've reached this point in life, and Jimmy was rather sad that we're here.
Well, I know one of the guys that helps with the kids that walk out with the teams, and he's often like talking to them and telling them, if you're taller than the player you're next to, move down to another player. That didn't work with Maxie last night, but Jimmy Conrad was there, and he's like, oh yeah, give Jimmy Conrad a high five, and stuff like that, because Jimmy loves the attention. And they're like, who? And he's like standing next to Matt Beasler, and some of them went, huh? So they don't know the history, man.
My name's up there. Look.
Yeah. So it's just a fact of life. I mean, I'm sure Mike and I could throw out some names that Carrie would not recognize.
Oh, sure.
I know Robert could, because he's been around.
But anyway, yeah, sad.
Yeah,
but always good to see Jimmy, for sure.
Yeah, it was a nice quick chat before we went into the locker room to find out about Jansen's terrible, horrible, bad day. All right. Any last words? Anything prophetic? Robert, I always get it thrown to me. Anything?
Here, I hope I'm wrong about everything I said about Sporting in the playoffs during this pod.
And we are out.
Can. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. Just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.